He made me pick who dies. Sitting in my car in a dark parking lot at night, I watched a thin man with a large, grotesque yellow smile walk up to the driver's side door with a gun. He politely tapped on the window and motioned for me to roll it down. I sat stunned for a moment before obliging. My heart raced as he calmly stuck the gun in my face and told me to unlock the door. In stark contrast to what one would assume from the weapon in his hand and overall disheveled look, he spoke in a confident yet non-threatening manner. "Listen, James, I just want to talk." Who are you?" I stammered out. He widened his smile. "Would you mind unlocking the door for me, buddy?" I slowly shook my head in response, but he simply pushed the gun closer to my face and shot me a look that clearly showed he wasn't really asking. Once he heard the door click open, he strolled around the front of the car and made his way to the passenger seat, never once taking the gun off of me. After he got comfortable, he seemed to slightly let down his guard as he spoke again. "You know, James, I'm really not here to hurt you. The fact of the matter is, I want your opinion on something near and dear to my heart." "The fuck are you talking about?" I shot back sharply. "You're holding me at gunpoint because you want my opinion on something? And how do you know my name?" The man laughed. "Well, to answer your second question first, I guess you can call it a unique intuition from a long time of observation." He winked before continuing. "And to answer your first question, yes, but not because you're special or anything. In fact, you happen to be a completely random piece. You just happen to be in the right place at the right time." Now I was utterly confused. The man was obviously crazy. The fact that he still had that gun pointed towards me meant that there was still a genuine possibility that the only way I left that parking lot was in a body bag. I think he sensed my worry when my eyes kept darting back and forth between the gun and his still smiling face. I got the vibe that he enjoyed the stress I was under. "Okay, so what do you want my opinion on?" He nodded his head and twirled the gun in his hand playfully before setting it on his lap. "Don't try and reach for the gun, or, kid, I'm a really quick shot. Trust me, it wouldn't end well." I nodded as he reached into his pocket and pulled out a cigarette and lighter. He took a long drag and exhale before talking again. "I know you don't like smoke, but I could feel the need coming on strong. This guy must have been doing it for years. Anyway, I wanted your opinion on who to kill." My heart dropped as those words left his lips. "I'm sorry, what? I can't be involved in that kind of thing." He picked the gun back up and blew out another puff of smoke. "I wouldn't think of it as being involved per se. You're really just making a suggestion. If it makes you feel any better, this isn't my first rodeo. I've got a lot of bodies on me. Even took some fine pictures if you'd like to see them." My hand slowly moved towards the handle as I mentally prepared to run. This was crazy. Not only had this person essentially kidnapped me, but they wanted me to be involved in some kind of murder plot. I thought that he was obviously some kind of serial killer, and that maybe if he was distracted for a split second, I could run and tell the police. At this point, whatever was going on was far bigger than me, and that I needed to tell someone. His confidence never wavered. "James, I told you I'm a quick shot. You're not going to get very far if you try and run. Really, I don't want to hurt you. Plus, even if you manage to escape and tell the cops like you're thinking, they'd never find me. I told you, kid, I have bodies. Plural. Trust me, there's a damn good reason for what's going on. Now, just answer my question, and I'll be on my way, I promise." My hand slowly retracted from the door, and he nodded in approval. I punched the steering wheel, and that damn smile of his indicated that he was enjoying every second of my moral conundrum. "Just tell me what you want." He paused to cough before taking yet another drag. A puff of smoke accompanied his next set of words. "Let's say someone had to hypothetically die tomorrow night. It could either be your mother, your best friend, or the father of that sick girl down the street from you. Who would it be? You just let me know, and I'll be on my way towards their house to do what needs to be done." "You can't be serious," I screamed. "I'm more than serious, James," he calmly responded. "And if you try and give me that I can't pick bullshit, I'll just kill all of them, no skin off my back." This time I laughed. At that moment, I thought the man had messed up. I hadn't been to my mom's house in years, and she was extremely protective of her personal information. She didn't have social media, lived out in the middle of nowhere with my dad, and didn't trust electronic services enough to ever put her information out anywhere. He was lying about knowing where these people were. If he was lying about that, then he was most likely lying about everything else. Hell, the only reason he probably knew my name was because it's so common. I could pick someone at random, and this crazy person would hopefully be on his way to leave me alone. "Tick-tock, James," he said as I was frozen in thought. "Who's it gonna be?" "What if I picked my mother?" I called his bluff. "You know where she's at right now." He chuckled. "Of course I do." "Prove it," I said furiously, banging my fist on the dashboard. He rolled his eyes and pulled out a phone from his pocket. It only took him a few seconds to type in a location and show me an image of the house my mom stayed at with my dad. "This is her, right?" My eyes grew wide. How the hell could he have possibly known that? "No," I lied. The man shrugged. "Fine, doesn't matter. If that's who you pick, then I'll show up and kill whoever does live there. And trust me, you can call the cops and hope they'll get there before I do. But it won't make a difference." He paused for a moment and thought, "In fact, it might be a little weird that you had knowledge of a murder before it happened. Old people with a big life insurance plan being killed by a child who then goes and feigns confusion and grief to the police is a story that's played out many times before. I can see the headlines now. Man hires killer to take out parents for insurance money. Gets life in prison." He then leaned in close to me. "Is that what you want, kid?" I didn't respond. He took another drag on his seemingly endless cigarette. "Didn't think so," he said before blowing out another puff of smoke. "So, who's it gonna be? I'm not gonna ask again." I shook my head and weakly put my hands on the steering wheel. "The father of the sick girl, I suppose. Just please leave." His wide smile grew even wider. He set the gun down entirely and stated in a mocking tone, "Thank you for your cooperation." He shoved open the passenger side door and put a foot out before stopping. "Oh, there is one thing I should mention." He then turned back around to me. "That little girl's father is a real piece of shit, you know. Beats his wife, cheats on her with a lot of the women in the neighborhood. Guy has even contemplated suffocating his own daughter to get an insurance payout. That's not even to mention the wild views he holds in his personal life. He's even making one of his current employees' lives a living hell because she won't sleep with him. But he's fired people for much less, reasonable matters, and then gone on to ruin their lives even further. Overall, just an awful, scummy human being." He violently coughed and rolled down the window to spit. Damn, this body sucks. Anyway, that being said, the other two choices are somehow worse. Can't really get into it because you didn't pick them, but it really makes you think, huh? How are your mother and your best friend worse people than absolute scum? Guess that's up for you to find out, right? Anyway, consider this a kindness. Hopefully we never meet again. And with that, he simply closed the door and walked away. I think I sat in that parking lot for another half hour, contemplating what the fuck just happened. Then I drove to a nearby liquor store, bought a bottle of tequila, and drank myself to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to news crews down the street and police tape sectioning off what looked to be a bloody crime scene. I come to find out later that everything he said was true. The man indeed was a horrible person, and what was once public support towards an unbelievable cruel incident soon turned to a feeling that somehow justice had been accomplished. I never told the police what happened. Maybe I should have. But I don't know. I suppose at the end of the day, I just didn't want to be involved more than I had already been. Conversations with my parents and my friend have been weird too. I found myself pulling back further and further from them. If what the man said was true, what on earth have they been up to in their private lives? And was I in some sort of danger because of it? I didn't know if I was more afraid of that man or of people I've loved for damn near my entire life. I'm also questioning how he knew so much about that man and about me if I was supposedly picked at random. That comment about this body has me on edge too. It's as if it didn't belong to him. So much about this situation has me asking questions that can't be answered, and I don't know what to do. I suppose the only thing for now is to get another drink and try to forget his kindness.